Hello, BookTube. I'm back with another episode of Bookshop Memories. And I've stolen the title, as I said in a previous episode, from George Orwell's 1936 little essay called Bookshop Memories about his days working in a bookshop in London for a short period of time. Mine will be a little more widespread of me going out and book scouting and things like that. But today I would like to talk about a bit of a trip that for book buying that combined a few other things in New York City and as well as a little further north of New York. And it was a I can't remember the exact. I know it was Labor Day weekend, so the beginning of September, and it must have been like 1999 ish, 98, 99, maybe 2000, pushing it at the latest. But anyway, going down, there was uh, a remainder house called Great Jones Books in Yonkers, New York. I believe they still in our existence, but at a different location. They also had a few retail stores, I think, called Labyrinth Books. But this was the wholesalers that I was going to, and it was in Yonkers, and I believe it was a disused carpet factory, so it was like massive, massive, long building. They were on the top floor, so lots of steps to go up. And so we get there early before they were actually opened, and we already had an order from their catalog that was ready to be picked up. But in their warehouse space, they had thousands upon thousands upon thousands of books of either like one copy or three or four copies that never really made it into the catalogs. So we spent a good part of the morning there. Actually, most of the day, to be honest, because there were a lot of books to go through, and I remember getting a lot of great stuff, almost adding to a collection that I was having at the time of the American Film Institute books, great big red books of either periods or thematic listings of movies. Very, very interesting reference books, and just a lot of other things. And I remember carrying a few of the boxes down with a couple of the lads there working, and it was a spiral staircase that sort of went down. It was like the only way that I was able to do it was because it was so claustrophobic that my shoulders were basically touching the sides, and because the footing wasn't the steps weren't very deep, because I don't do well with heights. Um, so yeah, so we did that, and well, we had other plans for the weekend. So that must have been a Friday, I believe. That had to have been the Friday that we did that. And we drove around a little bit on our way out of New York City, like north a little bit, and stopping at other bookshops along the way, along the village, little villages along the Hudson. They're really cool. I remember them being uh, like almost like little English villages in some ways, and found some nice little bookshops there. Bought some books, and as usual, I always stopped into a library or somewhere where I could connect to email because I was selling books, obviously. So I wanted to keep connecting and let people know that I'm doing X, Y, and Z. So I do that with a little village, a little town there, and there was one sale that actually was within the person that was buying it was within that village, that town, just north of New York. And I thought that was very funny. And I asked the librarian, because this was the librarian, where the street was. And it was literally like walking distance from the library. So if I had the book, I could have hand delivered it to my customer. But obviously, I had to say, sorry, I'm away buying books. I'll be back, Monday, Tuesday, or whatever it was. I'll get it mailed out then. But that was kind of freaky that it coincided that I was in the place where the person bought the book. So we continued a little more. We stopped at we planned on going. See that the plan was going back in, and when I say we, it was my friend John who drove. I wasn't driving, and we had this big van, so we had this lots of books in the van, but we also would spend a night like at a truck stop or something like that if we were on the highway sleeping, and that's what we did for that night, and. And then bright and early in the morning, we found a train station that was going directly into New York City, and we parked the truck in. We're concerned because we were going to come back at the end of the day, but we're concerned that the books might break it in and all this kind of stuff. So we opened up all the boxes and had books sort of sitting around, so anybody looking in would see books and probably not want to break in, so, but they were fine by the time we got back. But it was a nice little train ride in, and what we did, we spent the Saturday in New York City, just going to a few places. Went to the Statue of Liberty, and then to the Strand Books. But the biggest highlight for me was going to the Pierpont Morgan Library and seeing all the books there and books on display. But also too, they had a section as you went in that was I guess they'd used it for like traveling exhibitions, and this time it was um, it was artifacts from the University of Chicago, or Chicago University, the Oriental Institute at Chicago University, and it was all the stuff from like Mesopotamia, all the stuff that you would see in every sort of art book or ancient history book. The reconstructed lyre, the goat in the bush, all sorts of stuff that I didn't even know it was there, but that was a huge treat because I had read about that stuff. I'd seen it, over and over again in books and photographs. So that was a real joy. So we spent most of the day there. Went back up into to where pick up the van, but also we were going to a book sale on the Sunday, so we stopped by the book sale just to the location on the Saturday night before we were going to the hotel, but there were already people waiting there. The night before. I'm used to getting like 5, 6, 7 hours before the sale starts, but this place had people waiting. But some were waiting there, but they had a system where you take a ticket. So we were really late. Like we were like the 100th in line or something like that, and that it's like, okay, well, it's got to be good then. To to go to the if there's that many people going, and clearly it was a lot of London dealers coming up, book scouts and so forth. So we did this, and we debated whether or not I think that was a night that we decided to go to a hotel. This was in Connecticut, actually, a sale in Connecticut. So we went to a hotel, and yeah, we went to the sale the next day, and it wasn't very good at all. It was an experience, but not very good stuff. It's again one of these places, like some of these, they have somewhere to store books year after year, and they don't get too many donated every year, so it looks like they've got a lot of books, but it's like a 10, 15, 20 years accumulation of stuff that people have already picked through that don't want ex-libraries, and just the damage and everything. So it wasn't very good, and there were good books, like either high quality or rare stuff, but they had them higher priced than booksellers in a separate room. So If obviously for an individual wanting to buy them, that'd be great. But yeah, not for resale. And plus, you just go to a dealer and you could get it like a lot cheaper. So anyway, so that's a long memory, but that was a memory for a a, uh, a the Labor Day weekend. That's what I was trying to think of. Labor Day weekend, 98, 99, or 2000. I can't remember exactly when. Anyway, thank you, BookTube. I'll see you next time.